Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Guardian, and welcome to the Collector's Archive, where we look at games long since past and see if they still hold up by today's standards. This, from the publisher Namco Bandai, is Ace Combat, Assult Polarizing, Enhanced Edition. Over the course of things, quite a polarizing game. I actually originally covered this in a text review long ago, but my main thoughts that came from it is, one, supposed true fans of the series utterly despise the game. On the other hand, some people enjoyed the game, at least in terms of story and gameplay, which I suppose I can see a bit. And then there's people like me who sort of kind of look at it and go, I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the story. It's not the greatest story ever imagined, but I suppose for the most part it was at least a bit of an entertaining romp through everything. But at the same time, I've never been one for flying games. They've never gelled well with me, and maybe I went into it wrong by getting this game, but I'm still not sold on the genre as a whole, to be honest. Maybe I'll get around to trying a different flying game. Well, no, that's a bit of a lie. I do enjoy War Thunder. I enjoy War Thunder quite a lot. I suppose it's just the way the control scheme is. Seems to be a bit more action-packed and less just flying around in circles, because I can never actually shoot any bugger down because it just annoys... I'm sure you'll see all of this in a moment. Anyway, enough of me yammering on. Let's get into a bit of the campaign, see what we have in terms of gameplay, eh? No intro cutscene, and, oh, that's right. Can't do anything until the game allows me to, okay, no. Yes, I know I can use... Okay, one problem with this game, it does like to lock you out. I suppose it adds a bit of realism. They're not supposed to take off until flight control tells you can take off, but at the same time, you shouldn't really flash up the tutorial saying, hey, look, you can take off now, when I'm not actually allowed to take off. Another thing you may have also noticed with this game is that the FOV in it's really lousy. It's very contained. Okay, missile. And the plane models are huge. They're massive. And there's no option to actually change this. I mean, apparently you can go trundling around in the options if you so wish, but for the most part, yeah, this is what you were looking at through the entire game. Or this mode, where the models actually get much bigger. Fighting in the dogfight mode, which is basically an on-rails section, where you just follow the plane around and shoot at it. Admittedly, I do like the graphical effects where it splatters your camera with a bunch of different bits and pieces flying off the plane. As for the flight controls, I'm playing in sort of arcadey control mode because I'm absolutely useless at flying a Freudian slip there a bit, I suppose. Flying a plane normally. Let's go, come on. We're also seeing one of my dislikes of the genre. Just, whenever I play a game like this is basically how it always goes for me. Goody. Yes, locked on target. No, of course not. You may also notice that you have allied units flying around in the air with you. And I suppose it adds a bit of atmosphere to it, apart from the fact that I'm never entirely sure my comrades are actually doing anything. They sort of just peter about and fly around in circles, much like I'm doing at the moment, but I never see them shoot any enemy down. It does get quite annoying. Oh, come on. Unfortunately, it seems like the enemy is also very into the... The enemy AI seems quite good in terms of targeting, since every 10 seconds I've got somebody saying missile. I wouldn't mind, apart from this is the first mission outside of the tutorial. Going back to the dogfight mode, though, which caused a lot of controversy amongst fans of the classic Ace Combat series, it is overused to death in this game. If you want to shoot planes down effectively, you have no choice but to use the dogfight mode. It basically turns the game into one massive on-rail shooter with a bit of free flying in between. This gets exceedingly more complex in the final mission of the game, where you have no choice but to spend your entire time in dogfight mode. I suppose as a sort of... I'm trying to think of the correct term now. I suppose as a kind of set piece, there we go, it works a bit, but... Oh, come on, you... Yes, excuse me. Yes, I know I need to pull up. Actually, mentioning the graphical quality from before, here we have the textures. Any texture in this game is guaranteed to be particularly unpleasant. I mean, okay, the game came out on PC in 2013. It's the enhanced edition, so they've added HD texture packs. But just, I know it's a flying game, so you're not going to have any particular. You're not going to have any sort of particular wanting to have high quality textures on the ground. So, but in the cutscenes, when you're in barracks and you're looking at the character models, I suppose, are okay-ish. I mean, the faces aren't as bad as some Bethesda games I could mention, but the walls, it all looks a bit cheap, really. Okay, right, I can evade through the... Yes, thank you, Yes, thanks, missile, no, I know that. Bloody stupid, wretched piece of... Oh, there's one enemy left, is there? This means I'm going to spend... No, wait, there isn't. There's half a ton of enemies over there. I wouldn't change... I don't know anymore. As for game stability, game's relatively stable. I haven't had any crashes with the game when I played it through the first time, nor have I any crashes this time around. Right, I'm just going to blow that out the wall. It's going to miss, isn't it? Oh no, it actually shut the target down. That's nice. Are my allies going to shoot the enemy down? No, of course not. They're just going to peter about and do jack. Oh, look, the missiles missed. What a shock. Keep enemy within the Yes. Okay, so we're not actually out of the tutorial yet. You'd think they'd teach me this stuff in the full tutorial mode. Oh, right, somebody's on my tail. It's variable maneuverability. I do like that little set piece. I do like the fact that you do a little swingy stunt move to get behind the enemy. Unfortunately, it does wear quite thin by the end of the game, but for the most part. As an addition, and I think I could be quite wrong, I probably am, you can also control helicopters in this game. Only in set missions, mind you, but it's still an interesting addition. But at the same time, I hate the helicopter controls. I just really, really don't like the helicopter controls. I don't know. Me and helicopters don't gel very well. Especially in Battlefield 3, but that's a story for another time. Graphical set pieces as well. I quite enjoyed the little... Well, no, that's a bit of a lie. The the destruction animation showing you shooting down an enemy craft. It's quite interesting the first couple of times you see it, but it does also wear on very thin later on into the game. There's not really much to keep you invested for the most part, apart from maybe the story. But the story is basically your generic, standardized American military nonsense that it always is. Oh, a mad Russian has taken control of a weapon of mass destruction, and now you must destroy something and stop him before he kills the known world. The only difference this time is you're working for NATO instead of working for the US military. And even then I think you may end up back in the US military by the end of it. Oh, who's on my tail? There we go. Right. Shoot him down. Come on. There we go. Yeah, story, bit lackluster at times. There's a plot twist later on into the game, which you can see from a billion miles away. The enemies... I forget, not Makarov. Oh, it might be Makarov. Who knows? The shark. The Barracuda or something, I forget his name. But the main villain of the piece, he's sort of just, I want revenge on all Americans, and I shall blow up the White House. Rah, 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 rah. Not a particularly... I suppose a game such as this, you don't want to have a particularly deep story, but at the same time, if any of the Ace Combat games are as what some friends of mine have described them as, well, I think I can understand why there would be some ill feelings against this game. Oh, come on. This stupid plane model and FPS. Not FPS. FPS-wise, the game runs at pretty much a steady 60, which is I'm happy about, especially after playing Arkham Knight recently. But the plane models are just... I hate the fact that they are so big, and there's no way of adjusting them. And if I go into first-person mode, well, one, I can't actually pilot properly in first-person mode due to my skill level. Let's face it, I really am not good with flying games. But the FOV is just lackadaisical. It's not nice. It's too constricted, and it's just... You can tell this game is just a console port. Oh, thank you for telling me about the counter maneuver that I have... Okay, right. Oh, fuck. Stupid wretch. Oh, look, I can use flares. Marvellous. Yeah, no, the game... if you can't tell, the game is... I'm really struggling to get into the game for the most part. I played it through once just to get the end of the story, but it has some interesting pieces here and there. The fighter jets are quite interesting. Flying the helicopter annoys the heck out of me, but at the same time, I suppose I can get behind it to a certain degree. Especially flying around a city later on in the game and having to stay below a set height of the buildings to ensure you're not blown out of the sky by the anti-aircraft. You also have to do a stealth bombing run at for one mission. Interesting as it was, avoiding the sonar areas. Oh, come on. Oh, look, missile, 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 missile. Thank you for telling me about the missile. I swear half the time all the enemy AIs are just following on me. But, yeah, the death animations are starting to get quite disorientating as well now. Right, fly. As for the rest of the game, so cover the graphics, cover the gameplay, cover the story, music. The music in this game is probably one of its greatest strengths. The soundtrack is brilliant. I really do like it. Unfortunately, the music in this level isn't spectacular, so unfortunately I can't really let you listen to it, but when the music does kick in, you definitely notice. If you want a good track from the game, the tutorial level, it's on the soundtrack, you can probably find it on YouTube, Dogfight. That is a good song. That is a song that I always enjoy listening to. Alright. Okay, can I actually get a lock on with the multi-missiles? Probably not. Oh, we've got one. No. Fine, I'll just waste them all on this muppet. Yes. Shoot that down. Would I recommend this game, though? I'm at odds. If you enjoy flying game, arcadey style flying sims, then yes, I suppose you could probably find some enjoyment out of it. I don't think anybody into the hardcore flying games could probably like it, but I suppose if you want to give it a shot, give it a shot. If you're like me, and not particularly good at them though, I'd say give it a miss, really. Not that it matters particularly, it's quite cheap. Assault Horizon's quite cheap on Steam as it is, and I'm sure it'll be on sale at some point. I know I've just missed the summer sales, but you never know. Steam's one for having sales all the time, so... Oh, good, they've got no surface-to-air missiles. Wait, they had surface-to-air missiles when? Didn't see any surface-to-air missiles at all. It's just me flying around, taking out each one of the blighters. Look! Two of my eyes just flew past it. Did they fire off a single missile? No, because they're morons. Oh, come on. Oh, look, I'm being shot at by a missile. What a... and I have no flares. So basically, it gave me one set of flares just for the tutorial bit, and then that's it. Right. Die. No, come on. There we go. there's quite a large selection of planes throughout the game as well. You get to choose your plane at the start of each mission. I usually just go for the first plane because it seems to be the default, and I have no idea what I'm talking about with fighter jets. My knowledge sort of ends at World War II fighters, and even then, that's still exceedingly limited as well. Characters of the game, you play as Commander Bishop or something. Interesting character from what I recall. The supporting cast is quite good, and the radio chatter is interesting enough for the most part when it isn't just repeating the same line over and over. Writing's not too bad, I suppose. Can be a bit weak at times, but enjoyable, I suppose. Throughout it all, I can't help but wonder, does the game really deserve the hatred it got from fans? Oh, come on. Right, stop with the tutorials already. Did it deserve the hate? Tough one to decide on. I would have to play the other games in the series, I suppose, but for as a game, no, it's not a particularly bad game. It's a mediocre game, I suppose, but it's not bad. As an Ace Combat game, that's a different matter entirely, I suppose. You'd have to watch ask somebody who knows about Ace Combat games and the series. But from what I can gather, the other games have a greater story and a brilliant and all this, that, and the other. Okay, that's getting close. But then again, when talking to fans of a series, you always have to be quite cautious of nostalgia kicking in, because they have all these spectacular stories, and then you have to wonder just how much is actually real and how much is a personal bias. I can speak from experience with that, considering I've done the very exact same many times for many different series. Something I attempt to keep in check on a lot of occasions. Something I've got very good at avoiding over the recent years. Then again, it might also help that I've become slightly bitter towards a lot of PC releases in recent years, given the horrendous nature of most of them. Is that everything? I think that's everything. I'm sure I've probably missed something. I am a bit rusty. Not that I had any particular skill to begin with, but there we go. Oh, good. Have we destroyed it? Yes, we've destroyed them. Marvellous. Oh dear. Of course you have more bandits inbound. This feels... yeah, no, this does feel repetitive. It's just... no, I can't say this game's particularly for me. Oh, well. This is coming from a fan of Assassin's Creed. And the game's just crashed. Well, so much for the game being particularly stable. No, actually it isn't. I've just had something's crashed. Right, no. Shockwave's apparently crashed. Don't know why that's crashed. No, the game has completely crashed. Well, in this regards, piffle to it. I can't be bothered reloading it or replaying that mission. Ace Combat Assault Horizon Enhanced Edition, ladies and gentlemen. Available now on Steam for £10, $20 US, or your regional equivalent. Play it if you so wish. I can't say I can give it a particularly high recommendation, but maybe you could find some enjoyment out of it. I've been The Guardian, and thank you very much for watching. Be safe out there.